Purchase your tracks today. Purchase your track now.
All right, 47 minutes can pass 2 p.m. from the studios of T Solid Radio. My name is Bolabad. Welcome to yet another exciting episode or edition of You Matter live on the T Solid Radio. So it is safe to say we are live. All right, now a beautiful afternoon to you. I'm sure you're actually like just getting a hang of, the weather for today. I mean, it's been raining, then it stops, then it starts raining again. But then, we have to just get through it anyhow, and that we know how to. All right, now welcome to the show proper. And, I played you something back to back great tunes. Justin Bieber teaming up with Burna Boy came through just now, doing Loved by You. And before that, you listened to Johnny Drill and Simi doing Hallelujah. I think that song is always like evergreen, always new. Anytime I listen to it all over again, it feels like I'm listening for the first time. Anyway, today on You Matter, yeah, you're asking if you're listening for the first time, and you're asking what is You Matter all about. It's actually a show about you, for you, and yours. All right. And for me as well, most of the times. So, what we do here is come here, talk about things that are pertaining to you, me, or someone that are going through stuff, regular stuff that people go through, and then we just talk about it. Basically, that is what we do. All right, now. So last week we spoke about, we actually discussed, dating older people and younger people, for guy dating younger people, and for girls dating older ones or older guys. All right, now. So today, whatever it is or whoever it is that you are dating, at the end of the day, you'd actually want it to last. If I am right, am I correct? Yes, I know I am. So today we're going to be talking about tips on building a healthy relationship. How do you make it last? A lot of people are always saying that, you know what, my relationship never lasts. I'm always like just attracting all those F boys and I do not even know what to do and things like that. Anyway, so that is what we're going to be talking about today. Sometimes it's just what we are doing wrong, and sometimes it's not just working. Not doesn't really necessarily mean that we are toxic or the person is toxic. It's just that we don't work together. All right. So if you actually want to be loved and want to feel connected to your partner, yeah, here is what you should be doing. And this is what we're talking about on the show today. All right. So all romantic relationships actually go through ups and downs. That is a standard, and they all take work. Like I always say, a relationship is not a child's play. It's not just Instagram post and doing TikTok videos together. It takes work. A real healthy relationship, that is, takes commitment, takes work, takes willingness to want to adapt or change with your partner, want to grow with your partner. So whether your relationship is just starting out or you've been together for years, there are steps that you can actually take to build a healthy relationship. So even if you have experienced a lot of failed relationships in the past, or you've actually struggled before to rekindle the fires of romance in your current relationship, you can actually find ways to stay connected and find fulfillment and enjoy lasting happiness at the end of the day, so you can live happily ever after. Now, the first question we should be asking is, what makes a healthy relationship? Now, every relationship is unique and people come together for many different reasons. Now, why I said every relationship is unique is so much so to drive it home. Do not compare your relationship with that of your friend. Do not compare your relationship with that of your cousin. Do not compare your relationship with that of your sister or your brother or even your mom and your dad. Do not compare your relationship with that of your parents. I mean, it is crazy because you're different. Your significant other is different as well. So people actually come together for different reasons, and part of what defines a healthy relationship is actually sharing a common goal for exactly what you want the relationship to be and where you want it to go. And that's something that you only know by talking deeply and honestly with your partner. However, there are also some characteristics that the most healthy relationships have in common, though. So, knowing these basic principles can actually help you keep your relationship meaningful, fulfilling, exciting, and whatever goals that you're working towards or the challenges that you're facing, you face them together. So, first things first, that you need to know is that you need to maintain a meaningful emotional connection with each other. When I say meaningful emotional connection, now you can actually make each other feel loved and emotionally fulfilled. Now there are different things to do, and there's a difference between being feeling loved and being loved. Feeling loved is like you thinking, oh yeah, I'm sure he loves me. And always feeling and being loved is that you don't really have to think about it. You know for a fact that this person loves me. All right. So when you feel loved, it actually makes you feel accepted and valued by your partner, like someone truly gets you. So some relationship actually gets stuck in peaceful coexistence, but without the partners truly relating to each other emotionally. So while the union actually may seem stable on the surface, a lack of ongoing involvement and emotional connection serves only to add distance between the two people. That's why a lot of people actually just living together. They're just existing. And also, you are not afraid of respectful disagreement. I always say couples would fight. In fact, if you're dating someone and you've not actually had a quarrel with the person, you should check yourself. You people are not dating. You people are just like just together. All right. So some couples actually like talk things out quietly, while others actually raise their voice and passionately disagree. So the key in a strong relationship, though, is not to be fearful of conflict. You need to feel and express, or feel easy to express things that bother you without fear of retaliation, or be able to resolve conflict without humiliation, degradation, or insisting on being right. Okay. So if someone does something that you do not like, it is your right to actually say that, oh, you did something, I do not like it. I'm not saying go and nag, but I'm saying just talk about it respectfully disagree. Because if you do not disagree, you will never agree, and you wouldn't even know what your significant other likes or do not like. So also, you need to keep outside relationship and interest alive. Despite the claims that of romantic fictions or movies, no one can actually meet all of your needs. That is the reality of things. In fact, expecting too much from your partner can actually put unhealthy pressure on your relationship. I can attest to this. Okay, so to stimulate and enrich your romantic relationship, it is very important that you sustain your own identity outside of the relationship, preserve a connection with family, with friends, and maintain your hobbies and your interests. Also, learn to communicate openly and honestly. Good communication is actually a key part of any relationship. When two people, or when the couple know what they want from the relationship and feel comfortable expressing their needs, fears, and desires, you can actually increase the trust and strengthen the bond between these couples. Now, falling in love and staying in love, two different things. But I would actually dive into that. But I have to go take a quick breather. And here is Arya Star coming through with Sari. Let's quickly take a breather. And when I do return, we're talking about falling in love and staying in love. Why is it so hard for people to stay in love when they fall? Why is it that when people fall, they stand up? Arya Star, sorry, coming through.
I can't apologize. Cause my fairy tale is you, me, baby, for life. So why can't I fantasize? Cause I want you by my side when I stop dreaming. Be mine. I want you here, so on my side. I want your love, so don't run away. Yeah, you take over the world. And you ain't no man can put us under. Tell me, say you won't let go. I hold you tight like a Romeo. I'll show you, say you'll be my own. No, I can't apologize. Cause my fairy tale is you, me, baby, for life. So why can't I fantasize? Cause I want you by my side when I stop dreaming. Be mine. You know they play like a Ronaldo. You gon' body like a Burna Boy. If only cause you get money, oh. You know they don't me like other boys. You give me joy, you give me joy. You give me love, you give me love. And I will love is all you there. You mean a lot to me, yeah. You mean a lot to me, yeah. can't apologize. 'Cause my fairy tale is you and me, baby, for life. So I can't apologize. 'Cause I want you by my side when I stop dreaming. Be mine. Kike lavade, kike lavade, kemi di kodo po titi yori yori, jele di foko bi o. We wanna go, we wanna go, kemi di kodo po titi yori yori, jele di foko bi o. Don't want hold to me, yeah. Sale, sale,
Purchase your tracks today. Purchase your track now.
All right, Arya Star doing Sario on You Matter right here on Tisali Radio. At the time is 58 minutes going past 2 p.m., about 2 minutes before 3 p.m. from the studios of Tisali Radio. My name is Bolabad. Thanks to you and yours for sticking around. I really, really do appreciate it. Now, today on the show, we are talking about how to maintain, a healthy relationship. What are those things, the tips for building a healthy relationship? What are those things that we should be doing in our relationship to actually make it last? Now, it is time to talk about something really, really, really important and something very, very peculiar, because a lot of people say, like, when you fall, try to stand up again. But in love, does it really mean that, though? Or do you necessarily have to start walking and stand up and walk again once you fall in love? So let's talk about falling in love versus staying in love. Now, so for so many people, for most people, falling in love usually just seems to just happen. So it is the staying in love part or preserving that relationship or that falling in love experience that is that is war, which actually requires commitment and work. All right. So, given its reward, though, it is well worth the effort. A healthy, secure, and romantic relationship can serve as an ongoing source of support, happiness in your life. So, through good times and bad times, strengthening all aspects of your well being. Now, taking steps now to preserve or rekindle your falling in love experience, you can actually build a meaningful relationship that lasts even for a lifetime. Now, many couples actually focus on their relationship only when there are specific, unavoidable problems to overcome. Now, once the problem has been solved or problems have been solved, they often switch their attention back to their careers, their kids, or other interests. However, romantic relationship require ongoing attention and commitment for love to actually flourish. As long as the health of a romantic relationship remains important to you, though, it is actually going to require your attention, your effort, your time. So, identifying and fixing small problems in your relationship now can often help help prevent it from growing into a much larger one down the road. Which is why I always tell people, like, when there's something going on, something brewing, talk about it. Do not wait, do not gloss it over just because you're trying to avoid conflict. Talk about it. Make sure that you squash it, even though your significant other does not like talking about things. Talk about it. Make sure that you raise it. I'm not saying nag. I'm just saying make sure that you raise it, and so you guys can talk about it. So first things first that you need to do, staying in love. Once the euphoria of the new relationship is actually one of first things first you need to do is to spend quality time face to face. You fall in love looking at and listening to each other. If you actually continue to look and listen in the same attentive ways, you can actually sustain the falling in love experience over a long time. Okay, so you probably have fond memories of when you were first dating your loved ones, or everything seemed new and exciting, and you likely spent hours just chatting together or coming up with new exciting things to try out. So, however, as time goes by, the demand of work, family, and other obligations, and the need we all have for time to ourselves, and can actually make it very hard to actually find time together. But most people actually find that face-to-face contact of the early dating days is actually gradually replaced by hurried text, emails, instant messages, just 2 minutes video calls. So while digital communication is actually great for some purposes, it doesn't positively impact your brain and nervous system in the same way a face-to-face communication actually does. So sending a text or a voice note to your partner saying I love you is great, but if you rarely look at them or have time to sit down together as a couple, they will still feel you do not understand or appreciate them. So you will become more distanced or disconnected as a couple. The emotional cues you both need to feel loved can only be conveyed in person. So, no matter how busy life gets, it is important to carve out time to spend together. Commit to spending some quality time together on a regular basis. This is what I would say. No matter how busy you are, except for the part where you're doing a long distance thing, but always find time to actually just stay together as well for a time. So take a few minutes each day to put aside your electronic device, stop thinking about other things, and really focus and connect with your partner. Find something that you two enjoy doing together, whether it's a shared hobby, dance class, daily walk, or sitting over a cup of coffee in the morning. Just find something that you guys like enjoy doing together. Try something new together. Doing something new can actually just you open this fun part of yourself. You might tend to laugh at each other, probably like go cycling, try cycling, things like that. And taking it together and trying to paddle together, it is really, really crazy. It could actually be fun, and it could actually just bring out a new things that you did not even know that your partner actually had. Okay, so it can actually be as simple as trying like cycling, like I said, trying a new restaurant or going on a day trip to a place where you've never been before. Also, focus on having fun together. Couples are often more fun and playful in the early stages of a relationship. However, the playful attitude actually can sometimes be forgotten as life challenges actually start getting in the way or old resentments start building up. So keeping a sense of humor can actually help you get through tough times, reduce the stress, and work through issues more easily. So think about playful ways to surprise your partner, like bringing flowers home or unexpectedly booking a table at their favorite restaurant, or playing with pets or small children. That can also help you reconnect with your playful side. So another thing that you really need to understand is that you need to stay connected through communication. Now, a lot of people do not really like talking. You don't really have to like talk over and over and over for you to communicate. Now, good communication is actually a fundamental part of a healthy relationship. When you experience a positive emotional connection with your partner, you feel safe and then happy. So when people actually stop communicating well, they stop relating well, and times of change or stress can actually bring out the disconnect. So it may actually sound like very simplistic, but as long as you're communicating, you can usually work through whatever problems that you are facing. So tell your partner what you need. Do not make them guess. Like I always say, nobody can read your mind. It is always not easy to talk, for them to actually figure out or fathom what you actually need. It is not always easy to talk about what you need. For one, many of us actually do not spend enough time thinking about what is really important to us in a relationship. And even if you do know what you need, talking about it can actually make you feel vulnerable or embarrassed or ashamed. But look at it from your partner's point of view. Providing comfort and understanding, to someone you love is a pleasure, not a burden. Should I take that again? Providing comfort and understanding to someone you love is a pleasure, not a burden. So if you've known each other for a while, you may assume that your partner has pretty good idea of what you're thinking and what you need. However, your partner is not a mind reader. So while your partner may actually have some idea, it is actually much healthier to express your needs directly to avoid any confusion. Now, your partner may seem to sense something, but it might not be what you need exactly. So what's more, people change and people evolve. What you needed 2 years ago might not be what you need now. What you need now might not be what you need in the nearest future. So for example, maybe very different now, you know, like say last 2 years ago, you were not chasing a career. You were just an undergraduate in college or university, and you're just trying to like graduate And things that you would actually focus on is just to graduate. Now you've graduated, you've gone for your National Youth Service Corps, and then you want a job, you're not working, and you want to actually move ahead in your career. So what you need right now will be different totally from what you needed. What you needed back then when you were an undergraduate was someone to just talk to, someone to rant with, someone to maybe take pictures with, and just do fun stuff with. Right now, you are in the stage where you actually want to settle something, you want something more stable, So things actually change over time. We actually evolve over time as regards to whatever it is that we go through or whatever stage it is that we are in life. So over time, you would change, your partner would change. So you do not expect your partner that just because you've actually been together for so long, you should want the same thing. And, they should understand that you actually want this thing because, of course, you've been together for 5 years. Okay. So instead of letting resentment, misunderstanding, or anger grow when your partner continually gets it wrong, get it in the habit of telling them what exactly that you need. So take note of your partner's non-verbal cues. So much of our communications doesn't necessarily have to be words that come out of our mouth. All right, non-verbal cues, which include eye contact, tone of the voice, posture, gestures, such as probably leaning forward or crossing your arm or touching someone's hand, actually communicate more than words. So it actually just mean like you should know what your partner's cue are. So when you can actually pick on your partner's non-verbal cues or body language, you will be able to tell how they feel and be able to respond accordingly. So for a relationship to work well, each person has to understand their own partner's non-verbal cues. Your partner's responses may be different from yours. For example, one person might actually find a hug after a stressful day a loving mode of communication, while another might just want to take a walk together or sit down and just chat and discuss. So it is also important to actually make sure that what you say matches your body language. If you say I'm fine, do not be frowning. Ladies. If you say I am fine, but you clench your teeth and then you look away, then your body language is clearly signaling that you're not in any way fine. So make sure that whatever it is that you're saying out of your mouth is actually in sync with your body language. So when you experience positive emotional cues from your partner, you feel loved and happy. And when you send positive emotional cues, your partner feels the same. Doesn't matter if they are trying to hide it because they are Scorpio or Capricorn or whatever. So when you actually stop taking an interest in your own or your partner's emotion, you will actually damage the connection between the two of you, and your ability to communicate will suffer, especially during suffering or stressful times or trying times. Also, be a good listener. This actually is also a sublet under communication. While a great deal of emphasis in our society is actually put on talking, you actually can learn to listen in a way that makes another person feel valued and understood. You can also build a deeper, stronger connection between you two. There's actually a big difference between listening in this way or simply hearing. So, listening and hearing is, oh, all right, I heard you talk, but listening is deeply understanding someone. So when you really listen, when you engage with what is being said, you hear the subtle intonations in your partner's voice that tells you how they really feel and the emotions that they're trying to communicate. So be a good listener. Being a good listener does not mean that you have to agree with your partner or change your mind, but it would actually help you find a common ground, a common point of view actually that can help the two of you resolve whatever conflict it is that you're trying to solve. So also let's talk about managing stress as well. When you're stressed or emotionally overwhelmed, you're more likely to misread your romantic partner, send confusing or putting off nonverbal signals, or lapse into an unhealthy knee-jerk pattern of behavior. So how often have you tried been stressed or flown off the handle at your loved one and said or done something you later regretted? That is a question that you should ask yourself. So if you can actually learn to quickly manage stress and return to a calm state, you will not only avoid such regret, but you will also help to avoid conflict and misunderstandings, and even help to calm your partner when temper builds. Now, enough about communication. Let's talk about keeping physical intimacy. Into me, I see alive. Let us talk about how to surrender your physical states to your partner. But in the meantime, here is Mr. Easy Tigmin up with Simi coming through with Surrender Live on You Matter right here on Solid Radio. Do stick around.
Baby, make you love me, the boy. Baby, make you kiss the boy. Baby, make you love me, the boy. Baby, you for kissing the boy, kissing the boy. I sorry to your electric wait. I surrender to your electric wait. I sorry to your electric wait. I surrender. I know say I know strong like Mike Tyson. I know say I know get to the voice like Michael Jackson. I know say I know sweet like Zara Larson. I know say I know get the money like Michelle Branson. But waiting I get it pass the money where you want. If you give me a chance, I'll give you everything I got. I pray to God that this loving is enough. Baby, I just want to let you. I surrender to your electric. I surrender to your electric. I surrender to your electric. I surrender to your electric.
I sorry, like say I fell on you. I don't care about your money. You surrender to my leg. Oh, you know they care. Just call me your honey. No forget, baby. Set reminder. I open my heart, baby. Come make you enter. Carry your matter for head, your defender. For you, baby. For you, you know, Mr. Jackson, you know me better. I'm loving your melody, Lord, instrumental. Anything you have is enough for me, baby. I surrender to your tutorial.
I surrender to your electric. 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 Love me, boy. Baby, make you kiss the boy. Baby, make you love me, boy. Baby, you for kiss the boy. God, just give me love with the boy. Baby, make you kiss the boy. Baby, make you love with the boy. Baby, make you kiss the boy.
Purchase your tracks today.
All right, Simi and Mr. Easy Rather doing Surrender live on You Matter right here on Diesel Radio. 14 minutes gone past 3 p.m. from the studios. My name is Bolaba. Thanks to you and yours for sticking around. Now we are about to evolve and talking about how to keep physical intimacy alive in a relationship. Do not forget the topic for today is how to keep or maintain a healthy relationship. Yep. So what are those things that we need to be doing? What are those things that we need to stop doing to maintain a healthy relationship? Now, keeping physical intimacy alive. This is actually so fancy. All right, touch is actually a fundamental part of human existence. Studies on infants have actually shown that the importance of regular affectionate contact for it actually helps develop the brain. And you know, the benefits does not end in childhood. Affectionate contact also boosts the body's level of oxytocin, actually a hormone that influences bonding and attachment. So while sex is actually often a cornerstone of a committed relationship, it shouldn't be the only method of physical intimacy. So frequent affectionate touch, like holding hands, hugging, kissing, is equally important. Of course, it is important to be sensitive to what your partner likes. Unwanted touching or inappropriate overtures can actually make your other person very tensed and retreat from you or just change it for you exactly the way you don't want it. So, as with so many other aspects of a healthy relationship, this can actually come down to how well you communicate your needs and your intention to your partner. So, you see, it is actually progressing from how to communicate to tell your partner what you like, what you don't like. It actually helps build a stronger, not just emotional bond, also physical bond. So if you actually have pressing workloads or young children to worry about, you can help to keep physical intimacy alive by carving out some regular couple time. So, whether that is in the form of a date night or simply 1 hour at the end of the day when you get to sit and talk or hold hands, please do it. Okay, so when I said physical intimacy, like intimacy, I wasn't talking about just sex. Okay, sex is there, but it's not really like the most important thing. Also, learn to give and take in your relationship. If you expect to get what you want 100% of the time, I'm sorry to disappoint you. You get disappointed over and over. You're setting yourself up big time. So, healthy relationships are actually built on on compromise, meeting yourself in the middle, not always having your way or not always succumbing to what your partner wants. However, it takes work on each person's part to actually make sure that there is a reasonable exchange. Now, recognize what is important to your partner. Knowing what is truly important to your partner can actually go a very long way towards building goodwill and an atmosphere of compromise. Now, on the flip side, it is also important for your partner to recognize your wants and your needs for them to actually state them clearly. All right. So constantly giving to others at the expense of your own needs will only build resentment and anger, and you will eventually burst. Okay. So also do not make winning your goal. If you actually approach your partner with an attitude that things have to be your way, or else no way. It will be difficult to actually reach a compromise. So sometimes the attitude comes from not having your needs met while younger and you were always like spoiled. And, when your needs were not met when you were younger, you'd always throw a tantrum so your parents could actually just do whatever it is that you want. Or it actually comes from you getting away with everything all your life. So it could actually be years of accumulated resentment in the relationship reaching to a boiling point as well. So it's all right to actually have strong convictions about something, but your partner deserves to be heard as well. So be respectful of other people's points of view and their emotions as well. So also learn to how to respectfully resolve conflict. Conflict is inevitable. I don't know why people are always like trying to run away from conflict in the relationship. I mean, because even your father and your mother always fight. Not really fight. I didn't mean physical fight, but they always disagree on things. So why are you trying to gloss it over? Try to paint a facade of a perfect relationship when you need conflict actually to have a so to say close to a perfect relationship. Now, conflict is actually inevitable in every relationship, but to keep a relationship strong, both people need to feel that they've been heard, and the goal is not to win, but to maintain and strengthen the relationship. Make sure that you're not fighting, make sure that you're not fighting to win all the time. Make sure that you're fighting fair. Keep the focus on the issue at hand and respect the other person. Do not start argument over things that cannot be changed. You saw them the way they were before you started dating them. You know that they snore before you started dating them, or you might have spoken about it, and then now that you're dating them, you say, yeah, I can't stand you have to change. Or you know that they actually wear makeup every day, and then you're going, oh no, I don't like you wearing makeup. Like, dude, okay. Also, do not attack someone directly, but use i s- uh, I statements to communicate how you feel. For example, instead of saying you make me feel bad, try saying, I feel bad when you do that, or I feel bad when this happens. All right. Do not drag old arguments into the mix. God, please don't. If you had arguments and then you've resolved them, it has been resolved. Let it go. Do not bring them into new arguments. Rather than looking for past conflicts or grudges to assign, blame, or focus what you can do in the here and now to solve the problem. Just focus on what you can do to solve the problem at hand. Do not be saying that, hey, that was how you did that time, when you were good. What is wrong with you? Like, don't do that. Don't drag old arguments into the new conflict that you have. Also, be willing to forgive. Resolving conflict is impossible if you're not willing to let things go, or if you're unable to forgive others. So if tempers actually flare, take a break. Take a few minutes to actually relieve stress and calm down before you actually say or do anything that you will regret. Always remember that you are arguing with a person that you love. Do not say things like, That's why you did not pass your exams. Do not say things like that's why you're not progressing in your career. Do not say things like that. Things that you resent, or things that you come to regret at the end of the day when the argument is over. Do not say it. Rather than, if you know you have a bad mouth and then you're having an argument with your significant other, just take a breath, just take a walk, leave the house, leave that space. Do not talk for that time, and only talk when you're calm, so you don't say things that you regret. Know when to actually let something go. So if you can actually not come to an agreement, to agree to disagree. It actually takes two people to keep an argument going. So if a conflict is going nowhere, you can choose to disengage and move on. Okay? Now, also, let us talk about being prepared for ups and downs, because so many times we actually see things going on social media, and then we go, oh yeah, couple goes. Before I came on air, I saw a celebrity actually that he is engaged, and apparently his engagement is kind of like off, so to say, because he deleted pictures of his fiance, and that one has also deleted, and they've unfollowed each other on Instagram. We do not know how true that is, but before we actually like start screaming God when, and envying what people have, how about we just prepare ourselves and face the reality of things? Because it is not just about social media posting or TikTok posting or Instagram posting or doing couple goals. You guys are cute together. Relationship takes work. Okay, so I'll be taking another short break, and when I do return, we'll be wrapping it up, talking about how to get prepared for ups and downs in a relationship. Here's Ed Sheeran coming through with Castle on the Hill. Just stick around.
When I was 6 years old, I broke my leg. I was running from my brother and his friends, and tasted the sweet perfume of the mountain grass I rolled down. I was younger then. Take me back to when I found my heart, broke it here, made friends and lost them through the years. And I've not seen the boring fields in so long. I know I've grown, but I can't wait to go home. I'm on my way, driving at 19 down those country lanes, singing to Tiny Dancer, and I miss the way you make me feel. It's real, we watch the sunset over the castle on the hill. 15 years old and smoking hand-rolled cigarettes, running from the law through the backfields and getting drunk with my friends. Had my first kiss on a Friday night. I don't reckon that I did it right, but I was younger then. Take me back to when we found weekend jobs, when we got paid. We'd buy cheap spirits and drink them straight. Me and my friends have not thrown up in so long. Oh, how we've grown, but I can't wait to go home. I'm on my way, driving at 90 down those country lanes, singing to Tiny Dancer, and I miss the way you make me feel. It's real, we watch the sunset over the castle on the hill. Over the castle on the hill. Over the castle on the hill.
All right, that was Ed Sheeran, or that is still Ed Sheeran in the background doing Castle on the Hill. This is still You Matter right here on T Solid Radio. My name is Bolaba. Thanks to you and yours for sticking around. 26 minutes can past 3 p.m. It is almost time for me to leave the studios. Now, let us actually rush through this. Learn to be prepared for ups and downs. It is very, very important to recognize that there are ups and downs in every relationship. You won't always be on the same page. Sometimes one partner might be struggling with an issue that stresses them out, while, the other is actually okay now. Like stresses like such as death of a close family member, other events like loss of job, severe health problems, and actually can affect both partners and make it difficult for them to relate with one another. You might actually have different ideas on managing finances or raising kids. It is very, very normal. Now, here's one thing that you need to do. Do not take out on like your problems on your partner. Life actually stresses us, and life stresses can actually make us short tempered. So if you're coping with a lot of stress, it might actually seem easier to vent with your partner and even feel safer, snapping at them. But fighting like this might initially feel like a release, but it will slowly start poisoning your relationship. So you have to put that in mind. Also, trying to force a solution that can cause even more problems. Do not do it. Do not. Every person actually works through problems and issue on their own way, and remember that you're a team. So continuing to move together actually can get you through this rough patch. Okay. Also look back to the early stages of your relationship and see why, the moments that you've shared and where you guys are coming from, and see how you can actually reflect on trying to rekindle that feeling that you had back then. Also be open to change. Change is inevitable in life. That is the only constant thing in life. Learn to change. Be open to change. It will happen to you whether you like it or not, whether you go with it or you fight it, it will happen. So flexibility is actually essential to adapt to the change, and it actually makes you taking your place in any relationship. So it actually allows you to grow together through both the good times and the bad times. So if you actually need to actually be outside, or if you actually need outside help for your relationship, reach out together. Do not go to therapy on your own. Go with your partner so you can actually solve the issue once and for all. Okay. So on that note, it is a wrap up for You Matter this week on the show. Do not forget that you can keep the conversation going on social media. Follow us on all socials. That is at Tiselu Radio TV on YouTube as well. It is Tiselu Radio TV. If you must, by all means, if you want to, follow me on all socials as well at Bolabad. That is BOLABAD. It is time for me to say bye bye for this week, but do not worry, I'll be back, God keep us, next week for another amazing edition of the show. So it is a bye for now, because up next is Solid Sports and with Sports Evangelist Baba, leaving you in the hands of Chike and Simi doing Running to You. Till next week, do have a fantastic rest of your week, and bye for now.